Well, hi you guys, welcome back to the Kneady Homesteader channel. And you guys, what just happened? I think we broke the internet. What just happened? You guys, okay, before we get into the updates, because I do have some updates for you guys, and I promised that if I found anything out that I would come back and I would make a video. First and foremost, just because I feel like I need to like clear the air a little bit, because man, I've been accused of some awful things. Lord have mercy. But you know what? I got the full armor of God on and we're okay here. We're okay. But let me clear up a few things first, okay? First and foremost, if you go back and look at my videos, other than our car accident video, where I had to come on and explain what happened. And maybe some other videos like, you know, updating on, for those who are new, by the way, welcome to Kneady Homesteader channel. I was in a fatal car accident a few years ago. It killed my husband. We were hit head on by a drunk driver. Those videos where I was giving updates or walking through grief, we walked through the sentencing of the drunk driver that hit us, things of that nature. I had to have reconstruction on my mouth, so things like that. Those videos got quite a bit of views. But if you go back and look at my videos, you guys, like, I'm not a big, I mean, I have a big channel, but I don't get a lot of views. I'm just a mom. I homeschool. I'm a lover of the Lord. This accident, changed me spiritually, and I got to know Jesus on a personal level through all of it. So my love for the Lord shines through a lot of my videos. I can't help it. This channel is His. It belongs to Him, and I am just a tool in His hands here. I just shine a light, my little Jesus light, on things that bring me joy. I talk about grief here. I talk about recovery here. I talk about forgiveness. I talk about canning and cooking from scratch and meal planning and baking bread, which is one of my passions. We talk about pantry here, you know, pantry building. I lived off of my pantry for a year, just about a year, when I was recovering from being critically injured. And so that's what we do here on the Kneady Homesteader channel. You are not going to find clickbait here. You're not going to find doom and gloom. You're not going to find any kind of, you know, I'm never going to, if you go back into my videos, you're never going to see a title that's going to tell you, you know, stock up now, you know, 10 things you need to know now, you know, like, yeah, I'm not going to do a countdown to doom. I'm not going to talk about, you know, civil unrest and things of this nature. I just don't do that. What I will tell you is I will share things with you that have helped me grow, what I leaned on hard when I was suffering. You know, my pantry. I have a working, rotating pantry, so I will share with you how I keep things rotated and fresh. I don't like to waste food, so we meal plan and we use up leftovers and make them over into makeovers. That's what we do here on the Kneady Homesteader channel. And everything I do to the glory of God. Everything I do for the love of my family, because I almost did not survive. And so the only thing that we have in this life is time. That is the most valuable thing we have. And so everything I pour my heart into, I pour my love into. So we don't make things ugly here. We don't rush here. Everything we do here, we do with love, and we pour ourselves into it. So I'm not a fear monger. I'm a fear monger. No, I'm just a mom that came across an online page on Facebook that I belong to where people had questions and they were either frustrated they weren't getting it, or comments were being deleted. They had questions. And then when I looked into it, I had questions too. Now, I will be honest with you. I am plugged into my community. I do a lot in my church. I have met so many people, local people, through my recovery after our accident. I have made friends with my doctor, my nurses, my aides, my physical therapist, my occupation. In fact, I was just talking to the husband of my occupational therapist all morning. These people have they have poured into me and the kids, and they have become my friends. And through church, I've met more people. I then went into a church in Tawas, a women's Bible study. I've met more women. I have gone down to Barn 45. I've met more women through there. I have a large circle of people that are actually here locally that I love and adore and have become really good friends with them. And when I made that video, I was really making that video expecting, I'm friends with firefighters and police officers and people in the sheriff's department, and state trooper lives across my street. I really did make that video with honest to goodness questions. Now, it was the weekend. I could have waited until Monday and called our state rep, but I have a platform, and most of the people that I'm connected to here watch me on a regular basis. So I made that video asking, hey, does anybody know anything? Hey, does anybody know where they can direct me to information that I can read more about this and find out more? Because I had questions like so many other people. And I think in today's society, we are so used to living in our house and I don't want to say becoming hermits, but not being connected. There's a lot of people that move into a neighborhood, they don't end up knowing who their neighbors are. Everybody kind of keeps to themselves in this culture that we have. And so when people ask questions, sometimes it's a little uncomfortable. And my thought is, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're called to do. We elect these officials to represent us. So if something doesn't make sense, if we want clarity, if we have questions, we should be able to ask without it being insulting or invasive or weird or inappropriate or anything like that. We should be able to ask questions. And that is one thing that you're going to find here on my channel with my platform, is that when you guys ask questions, I'm never going to condescend you. I'm never going to be snarky or salty or rude, or talk down to you, or tell you your question's stupid, or act like you're bothering me. That's why usually I end my videos with, if you guys have any questions, leave them down below for me, and I will try my very best to answer them, because I don't have all the answers. And sometimes you guys ask me questions, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know the answer to that. Let me go ask Mr. Google. And I'll jump on Google and I'll find out the answer for myself. That's how I grow, and I have 2 traumatic brain injuries. I don't retain everything very well. I know somebody said, oh, you talk so slow. I do. I'm brain damaged. But to the glory of God, I'm still alive. And to the glory of God, I still have most of my core memories. So with that, sometimes I don't know the answer to something. Sometimes I have a hard time finding the answers. My brain, I can't sometimes I can't think of the words to use to find something. It'll be on the tip of my tongue. You know, my therapist gave me this, you know, tap your head, because sometimes that will get you to, helps you focus. By the way, that's a free tip and a trick for you. But I'll go look for it. And making that video the other day, I was looking for answers, and I really was expecting someone local, maybe a few of you, to have a simple answer. That's what I was hoping for. And if not, okay, then let's do some phone calls. Actually, I was just going to go up to my sheriff's department because I have to go up there anyway. So I got to have something notarized. So I got to go to the courthouse anyway. So I figured I'd just walk into the sheriff's department in there, and I'll just ask. So with that said, all right, let's get into, anyway, I want to say everyone is welcome here. The only time, now I know that there were a lot of people that said that their comments were being deleted. That was not me. That was YouTube. The comments were coming in very, very quickly. And so I don't know if they thought I was being spammed or what, but there were many comments, according to many people that were trying to type, that it was getting deleted. And for that, I apologize. I had nothing to do with that. I do have, if you're just leaving a link, like you don't type anything and you just leave a link, it gets deleted. And that is only because I'm a longtime YouTuber. I've been here since 2007. And so we went through a little phase on YouTube where there was a lot of dark web, like pornography type stuff that was happening. And so people were leaving like timestamps and links, and it would take you off the platform even if it looked like it was an okay link. So way back then, I blocked links. If you just leave a link, your comment might be deleted. Now if you leave words and then a link, it gets held back, and then I have to approve it. But there were so many. This video blew up. It blew up. But I am glad, you know, I pray over all my videos. I prayed over this video that it would get into the right hands, and that God would put it where it needed to go to get the answers that needed to be had, and it did. It went to a local reporter, and then I forgot his name, Dave Bondy, and I did message him too, and I thanked him. He did get to the bottom of it. He was able to call FEMA. He called the state rep, or I'm sorry, he called the supervisor, the city supervisor, and he was able to get clarification. So Dave Bondy, if you don't follow him, go follow him. I follow him over on Instagram. I think I might follow him on TikTok, or I know I follow him on X. I still want to call it Twitter, you know, but I follow him over on X too. So anyway, I am going to now spin you around to my computer, and we are just gonna kind of summarize up what I found out as far as everybody else diving into this. They were talking about, I know there's a lot of talk about the 6 counties were actually in the middle of the state, and nowhere even around here. I have seen no evidence of any of that, so I can't talk about any of that. I only can go by what my elected officials have said, okay? So I'm not going, I can't assume, I can't, you know, I'm not going to read anything into any other stories. If there is proof, if there is evidence, I know it was said that FEMA was denying anyone help down south with the hurricanes if they had a Trump sign in their front yard. That was called fake news here on my channel. However, that woman, that leader was let go, and I saw an interview with her speaking herself, and she said that that was not from her, that that was a directive from FEMA, that that is how they operate. They operate with no, they try to avoid conflict and then resolve conflict. It's the second thing if they can't avoid it. That is another whole topic, has nothing to do with this video and the questions that I had. However, I think it's so small-minded to say that things are fake news because it hasn't come from an official, person, that especially in a time where the trust for some of our leaders is rough at best. So as citizens, we need to plug in, we need to be active, we need to communicate, we need not to be afraid or not to be bullied. A lot of people like to bully, man. Yeah, I've seen so much bullying, so people try to talk down to you and bully you and try to suppress your voice. And I think people are getting tired of that. I think we have all reached the point now where we're like, no, you know what? No, you're not going to do that to me. So, let people, pray over people, pray over for the eyes and the ears of discernment. People will always show you who they are. It might take them a minute, it might take a moment, but pray for those eyes and those ears of discernment as you are watching not only content creators, but people in the alternative news, people in the mainstream news, your leaders, our elected officials, eyes and ears of discernment. Pray for it. Pray that the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit gives it to you. And He will. And you will feel it. You will know it in your knower. You will know it in your knower that something's off. Something's off with that person. Something doesn't seem right. Something, they'll show you their true colors. So with that, okay, I'm going to be quiet now because I'm a chatty Cathy. I'm a talker. All right, I'm going to spin you around and I'm going to give you the playback. So we're all on the same page, at least here on my channel. I'm just going to show you the evidence that I have, okay? That I have seen, that I have heard, that I have read. Some things that are a little unsettling to me, but it is what it is. So, all right, let's go. And I'm going to apologize for any kind of glare. I'm going to try to, not be so glary. But first and foremost, I'm going to show you, this is the Oscoda meeting. I know I read the transcript, but this was the only piece of evidence that I had to go by, which is what Mr. Palmer, Mr. Bill Palmer here, had said. I could only go by his words, what he said. He was my trusted source, okay? So let's play what he said.
The airport was just notified that FEMA has chosen the airport facility as a stationing hub for emergency services through FEMA. They will be serving 6 counties in this area, and they will be bringing in some 350 semi-trailers with equipment to park on the base. So if you see a lot of trucks coming into the base, that's what it is. It's nothing to get scared about. They're staging for emergency situations in any of these 6 counties that FEMA takes care of. And Mr. Freeman is in the house. Yeah, that's perfect. And just one other item from the airport, they are working on the paperwork to submit for the grant to build a terminal at the airport. So that you saw perspective pictures of what it would look like, and it will be fantastic. Yep. It'll be slightly smaller than what we have now, but it'll be a beautiful building. So it's
So we're going to have a big, new, beautiful building with a bunch of semi-trailers parked behind it, huh?
well, sometimes it'll be a ways away from the terminal.
Fair enough.
Okay, so you heard him say these 350 semi-trucks were coming in to stage for an emergency in the 6 counties that they were going to be taking care of. At the end, you hear them talk about a grant to build on to the airport, in which case this gentleman, I'm so sorry, don't know his name, laughed and said, well, we're going to have this big, beautiful building at the airport that's going to be blocked by 350 FEMA trailers. At which case, Mr. Palmer corrected him and said, no, we're going to have, the FEMA trucks will be parked a ways back. This is what I went on when I made my video. This was the only piece of evidence that I could find on FEMA coming in to the Oscoda area, okay? Now I say this why? Because people were asking, well, what do you want? What do you want? What do you expect? If something, an emergency happens, FEMA has to park their equipment somewhere. They need some kind of storage facility. True. True, and I would not oppose that, in fact. I mean, if that is what we were discussing, but that was not discussion. That was not part of the discussion here. What was being discussed was 350 FEMA trailers coming in and staging for an emergency with the 6 counties that they were going to be taking care of locally. And then he tells us not to be scared when we see them rolling in. There was no talk of, again, you want to talk about fake news, you can't project and think in your mind. I can only go by what I hear. And at no point was it mentioned that, hey, they're only using the airport to store their emergency supplies. They didn't even mention emergency supplies. They said equipment. 350 semi-trailers with equipment. That's what they said. You can only go by what was said. Now, so let's go. After my video, the next morning, I got some texts about the Tawas Exchange making a post on my video. There was also a link to Facebook with our state representative, Mike Hoadley, and he had made a post about it. Now, I can't read you the current post that is showing because this is an edited post. And Mr. Hoadley might not be on social media, so he might not be used to the standard. Now, standard practice of anybody who works on social media knows that when you make an edit, you always let your audience know that you have edited the original text. I'm going to show you in Facebook land, at least, how to tell if somebody has edited a post. Because as you see, if you're looking at his post here, you don't see anything that says edited. Unlike, like sometimes on different message boards or different things, I want to say like Instagram, if you go in and edit a comment, it'll say edited. I think they do that too on YouTube. But you can't see anywhere that this is edited. So this is an edited response. So we're just going to read this because this is what's up currently and what looks to be original, but it is not. So I woke up to State Representative Mike Hoadley's post. Okay, so let's read what, if you go to Facebook, this is what you're going to see. Our office has received several calls from concerned citizens regarding plans of FEMA bringing approximately 350 semi-trailers onto the old Wordsmith Air Force Base in Oscoda, Michigan. We have reached out to FEMA for an official response, however, have been told that the site was considered in possible collaboration and contract with Kneady Air to be an emergency response hub for FEMA. The air base was among the chosen due to the available space needed and Kneady's capability as one of the world's largest air freight carriers with experience in rapid deployment with the U.S. government. To clarify any misunderstanding, these trailers are not there now, not en route, not scheduled to be delivered. We will continue to monitor the situation and relay more information as it becomes available. That is what you're going to see now. However, I had a question for him, and you will see my response down below, because he had edited it without telling people that he edited his verbiage. And then I posted the original post. Now, I'm going to teach you, in case you didn't know, on Facebook, how you can tell if an original post has been edited. You're going to go up to these three little dots up here, and you're going to click on it. And then right here, you're going to click on View History. And then what will pop up is the history, okay? And you will see that Mr. Hoadley edited his post 3 times. So his original post was at 9:31 a.m. His first edit was 3:32 p.m. and then he edited again at 3:37 p.m. And Mr. Hoadley, no shade to you, I have to edit all the time because I speak in fluent typo. So it's not a big deal. However, to be transparent, especially when you are a public figure, it's just really nice to be able, especially when you're dealing with something like this, where transparency is so important. It's nice to be able to tell your audience, hey, I'm editing this post or edited to update something. Let them know that you're editing it. Otherwise, it just appears shady, okay? So let's look at his original post, which is the post that I read when I woke up that morning. Okay, our office has received several calls from concerned citizens regarding plans of FEMA bringing approximately 350 semi-trailers onto the old Wart Smith Air Force Base in Oscoda, Michigan. We have reached out to FEMA for an official response, however, have been told that the site was chosen in collaboration and contract with Kneady Air to be an emergency response hub for FEMA. The air base was chosen due to the available space needed. Now we're going to go down, okay? And I'm going to show you where the edit is, right here. However, have been told that the site was considered in possible collaboration. However, have been told that the site was chosen in collaboration. Do you see how that verbiage on those 2 posts are completely different? There is a huge difference between the site has been chosen versus the site was considered in possible collaboration. That is night and day to me. That's a huge difference. And so you will see I will leave links. So I will leave links to everything because everything we do here is in the light. So I asked him, and you see I've got 10 thumbs up. I asked him about, you want me to read this? I don't want to make this video too long for you. The morning Mr. Hoadley, I am now confused. Sorry, I was confused. This morning you stated that the site was chosen in collaboration. Now I see you edited your post without stating that you edited your post to, quote, was considered in possible collaboration. That's a huge difference. So are you saying like Mr. Palmer, and we're going to get into Mr. Palmer in a minute, is now stating that you misspoke in your original post this morning? I'm asking for transparency so there is no confusion. Thank you in advance for any help that you can offer to get this all sorted out. You know, you should have edited your post and said, I'm sorry, I used the wrong verbiage. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'm sorry, I got the wrong information. To me, you said, we have reached out to FEMA for an official response. However, have been told, okay, I need to know, we need to know as a community, who told you what? However, have been told that the site was considered in possible collaboration. Well, we know that it said that your original, because we're going to go back to the edit history, and we're going to go back to click it all. We have reached out to FEMA. However, we have been told that the site was chosen. So what I want to know is who told you it was chosen. If Mr. Palmer genuinely misspoke and said the wrong things in that township meeting, then who told you this that morning when you called? I'd like to know. I have questions. I know I'm not the only one. All right, so we're going to get to Dave Bondy. Let me see. Can I back you up a little bit? Yeah. So here's Dave Bondy, and I will leave a link to this as well so you can go read. FEMA and Oscoda, Michigan staging area social media post. Again, I did not think that this would get this big. I did not think I was going to go viral with this. All right, so He says that social media post has gone viral, has a lot of people asking questions about FEMA in Oscoda, Michigan. The post states that FEMA is staging 350 trailers and equipment at an Air Force base in Oscoda, Michigan. The Air Force base was decommissioned in the 90s. It's for emergency services. A video also posted online showing Oscoda Township official talking about this in a recent meeting, saying FEMA was possibly coming to Wordsmith. I reached out, so this is what Dave Bondy says, I reached out to FEMA for explanation, and they released the following statement. So I'm going to try to zoom in here. Again, I'll leave the link to this so you guys can read it yourself. I don't want you to go by what I say. I want you to research it yourself. I think it's supposed to say FEMA. FEMA routinely assesses the viability of sites that may be used in future disasters. There is no plan to use Wordsmith location to stage commodities at this time. We have no trailers at the location or on the way. This is an unfortunate misunderstanding. Oscoda Township manager Bill Palmer released the following statement. Now, this is the gentleman that we saw at the beginning talking at the township meeting. I misspoke at the board meeting when I said FEMA was sending 350 semis to Wordsmith. What I meant to say was Wordsmith was being, quote, considered as a secure location along with 5 other possible locations for this secure staging of FEMA equipment. This would simply be a staging area for FEMA to cover some 6 counties in northern Michigan, as I understand, in case of an emergency or disaster of some kind. However, at this time, no decision has been made by FEMA to my knowledge, and I have no idea why FEMA is considering this possible action. Well, FEMA, right up here, pretty much said that there is no plan to use Wordsmith location to stage at this time. So there's no plan to use them. Here he mentions the 6 counties in northern Michigan. This whole talk about 6 counties being, including like Macomb, Ionia, I can't remember the other, I don't know where that came from, and nobody can source it other than an anonymous source leaked 6 counties that kind of line up with Wisconsin, I believe an Air Force base in Wisconsin. That's all hearsay. I have no evidence or proof of any of that. All I know is what my leaders are telling me, what my elected officials are telling me. And my elected official is saying 6 counties in northern Michigan. Many of you ask me, what 6 counties? Heather, what 6 counties? What 6? I don't know. They have never disclosed that. Although, in my opinion, they should. They're elected officials. I think we deserve to know what 6 counties. Is it, many of you said, is it only yours, these certain 6 counties? What about other counties? That was part of my questions, you guys. Like, this is why I genuinely, in my video, I was like, does FEMA do this everywhere? Is it just for these 6 counties? What if other counties need their help? Like, how does that all work? I clearly said in my video, I don't know how FEMA works, but maybe what do you do? And many of you told me, and some of you even worked for FEMA at one point, that FEMA does not stage before an emergency. Now, it does make sense that they would have to store somewhere. So where do they store things? So that, if that story is true, that makes sense to me. And I don't think anyone would have a problem with that if that was what was said in the township meeting. But that is not what was said in the township meeting. And you've got the man who made that statement saying that he misspoke. The problem with this is, did our state representative, Mike Hoadley, also misspeak when he spoke at 9 a.m. that morning and made his comment saying that that the Air Force Base had been chosen? Did both men misspeak? Both of these men are professionals. They are elected officials. They know how to speak. This is what they do for a living. So did both of them misspeak? Or was something let out that wasn't supposed to be let out? Did FEMA get cold feet because all of a sudden this went viral and many people had questions and they just backed out? Was there a deal made? Was there not a deal made? Was it really in talks? And did we have 2 men misspeak when they told their constituents that this Air Force Base had been chosen? Is this just a miscommunication, or does it go deeper? I don't know. Mr. Palmer, however, is retiring, because I found this article. This was written October 30th. Now, October 28th was that town meeting. I don't know when he decided not to run again. It says he was appointed in 2016 to the board, and he was reelected in 2020, and he chose not to run for reelection in 2024 due to his age and wanting to spend more time with his wife. So I don't know. Did he misspeak? Is there something sinister happening? I don't know. I just wanted answers. to a question that I had about 350 trucks coming in. Now I'm going to go back to this from the state representative, because this is where I start having a problem, okay? This is where I start having a problem. So, Mr. Hoadley, our state representative for this area, I believe he works for this area, says worth mention is that 350 semis is an arbitrary number used in conversation for evaluating possible maximum logistical needs. Again, these trailers are not there now, not en route, not scheduled to be delivered. This nice lady, very respectful, but has concerns, comments and says 350 semis is an arbitrary number. Please clarify. I've never heard of FEMA staging a possible disaster emergency with equipment. What equipment specifically will be included in those arbitrary 350 semis? When did you know that FEMA was coming, and why are we just now finding out? Are the 16 Michigan counties also arbitrary and hypothetical? We'd like to know. These are good questions. And as long as I'm on my post, you're not going to shame anyone for asking questions. You're just not. I will call you out on that. That's ridiculous. Everyone should call you out on that. So his response was, my apologies. Perhaps you, Tricia, misunderstand. There is no concluded plan for FEMA and the Wordsmith site. However, their initial evaluation on the site consider it a good fit. If it were to become such, the semi-trailers, 350 or however many, would only arrive if there were an emergency. So wait a minute. Now we're going to use it as a site for staging to put supplies for when we need them in this area, to now those trucks wouldn't come unless there was an emergency. Which is it? Which is it? Because it doesn't seem like everybody's on the same page. Where's FEMA? Doesn't FEMA have like a spokesperson that could come out? I mean, they know they got a lot of blowback. They have a lot of people questioning. Why don't they have a spokesperson at a mic saying, hey, Michiganders, let me explain what transpired and put everyone's heart at ease. It says FEMA and the government agencies in general have lost the public trust, and for good reason. I understand and share the concern. Well, originally it did not sound like Mr. Hoadley even knew about this because he was trying to find out information. If you're contacting FEMA to find out more information, that tells me you were not aware of whatever was transpiring, which to me is concerning because you are the state representative here. That's important for you to know. So who didn't put Mr. Hoadley in the know? Was he in the know? I don't want to assume. So here is my response, because this is where I had an issue. I said, with all due respect, Mr. Hoadley, Tricia, I forgot an A. Tricia isn't the one misunderstanding. Mr. Palmer, who is an elected official and leader in this community, specifically said 350 semi-trailers. She didn't just pull up that number on her own, you guys. 350 is what that man said in a town hall meeting. 350 semi-trailers, and called for the citizens of this community not to be, quote, scared. When we start seeing FEMA rolling in, when we start seeing all these semis rolling in, 350 is a lot for this area, especially since they have to go down a 2-lane winding road highway to get to it. 2-lane road. US 23. If you've been up here, you know what I'm talking about. That would be quite the convoy. If it came in a convoy, I don't know. It is incredible to me how badly this has been handled. Where did Mr. Palmer get his information from when he announced that FEMA chose a facility? That man looked down on his paperwork. You can see it in the video. He looked down at his paperwork and he said, I was just informed that FEMA has chosen the Wordsmith facility. Where did he get that information? That's not misspeaking unless he wrote it down wrong. But we deserve to know. All right, let me get back to this. Where did you get the information from yesterday morning when you confirmed that the airport facility was chosen before later editing your post and changing the verbiage to was considered? Where did this information come from? I personally feel that there's a lot of gaslighting going on. It's sadly why many citizens no longer trust their elected officials. Did Mr. Palmer and you both misspeak? Or did FEMA choose that facility until the public caught wind of it, only to suddenly back out when this information went viral and the community started asking questions of concern? Because that's what it appears may have happened here. I give you credit. You are the only elected official who jumped in to help us figure out what was going on. It seemed to me that this was as much of a surprise to you as it was to all of us. And I do thank you for all of your help. And then I told him, God bless, because I mean that.
So here we are. So those are the updates. Those are the things that I have seen, that I have witnessed.
we still have so many questions. It would be so nice if just one of our elected officials made some kind of, you know, statement clarifying what took place, what's going to take place. It sounds to me like FEMA now is no longer coming to our area. So, and you know, you could be on the side of that being a good thing or that being a bad thing. I think if citizens, I think if he would have said, you know, this was a staging area for future emergencies, you know, FEMA has to put their equipment somewhere. This would bring jobs into the area. You know, we would have all this emergency equipment nearby. I don't think many citizens would have a problem. I know I wouldn't have had a problem with that. But because this was done in such a way that the light was not shining on it. And what is done in darkness is never good. And it just seems like, I don't know. It seems like nobody can give a straight answer. And nobody can provide more information. And I'm hoping that we get clarification. I'm hoping we get transparency. Will we? I don't know. If I come across anything, or if one of our officials comes out and clarifies a lot of this stuff, I promise I will make another video. This is not my usual content. I have lived through the unlivable. And I live a very peaceful, quiet life. I like to do things that bring me joy. I like to pour into things that are edifying. And so, you know, I'm hoping tomorrow I can get back into that. I have a lot of bread I have to make for someone who's ordered bread from me. You know, I've got a lot of things that I want to do. I wanted to do my meal planning this week, but this kind of halted all that. So I'm hoping to get back to my regular content, but I do promise you that if I find anything else out, if there is any kind of clarification to some of these questions that still have not been answered, I will let you know. But don't ever let anyone bully you into submission, into being quiet, into being small. I'm proud of what we do here on this channel. I'm proud of the content that I put out. It is all to the glory of God, and you know, I don't. You know, I've been asked many times to write a cookbook. I don't have a book out there, you know, fear-mongering. I don't tell you to stockpile. I don't constantly remind you that an emergency could happen at any time. Bad weather, you know, EMP, you know, civil unrest. I don't focus on any of that. So I genuinely had questions, and I was hoping that I could just reach out to my community and get answers, and that's why I made that video. And I'm sorry if it hurt anyone. I'm sorry if it made anyone uneasy. I'm sorry if it made you feel any kind of way other than you know, curious. And wanting some answers too. And I think it's a good thing that people are talking about it and shining a light on it. And you know, this little light of mine, right? I'm gonna let it shine. I only have a little light. But with all of our little lights combined, we make a great big spotlight. And yeah, this needed a light. So I just want to remind you of one thing. You will know them by their fruit. So if the people that you watch or the people that you listen to produce bad fruit, they will show you. And if they produce good fruit, they will show you. So continue to pray for the eyes and the ears of discernment. And God bless. I love you all. And I'll be seeing you soon. All right. Take care. Bye.